All right, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone had a fantastic week. I hope everyone's ready for some news. I'm not ready to show you all. It's not quite there, but I did something with the news that should help with production quality in the coming weeks. So I'm kind of excited about that. We got a bit of news to cover today. Yeah. We got a bit of news to cover. Some open source. Some other random stuff. Actually, probably the biggest section for today is the news section. Biggest news section for today is the news section. I just wanted you all to know that. Like I said, I have a thing that's half done that I think will make a little bit better production quality. I know it's hard to get better production quality than this, but we'll see. So yeah, I want to show you all because I thought it was something that's like maybe a really good use of different things. So anyhow, maybe next week we'll see how good I get it by next weekend. But are we talking about this? Are we talking about this? When you said Malazan, this is the only thing I'm thinking of. Malazan, Book of the Fallen. So What the first one is the Garden of the Moons? Yeah. I think it's Garden of the Moons. Not that I've read hundreds of hours. Gardens of the Moon. Yeah, Gardens of the Moon. Look, if you get to book 6, you have a bit of a reprieve, okay? Book 6, bit of a reprieve, okay? On the word count there. This is a pretty Okay, so this is not AI slop. Just before people think about it, this started well before AI. This is now I don't know about any of the newer stuff, right? So I read the original. I don't know what you call 20 books. But like it's very long. But like what you have to look at is like there's Malazan Book of the Fallen. Those are all you have to really read. So I believe there's 10. The Crippled God is the Crippled God is the last one of that section. Funny books in the forest of books. It's a forest of large books too. Like when you're talking, some of them are 400,000 words. So you only have to read the books of the like the Malazan Books of the Fallen is the important series to go through. The other ones to me were like, you know how you could like read the Lord of the Rings and you'd have the Lord of the Rings and that was great. And then if you like really got into it, you could read the Silmarillion. And then if you were like really getting into it, you could like read the books of Lost Tales, right? Not that I know anything about this, but you know, and in that you have like the fall of God. Anyways, you could do that if you really got into it. That's what I see here. This is my feeling on it. If you really want, you can read just the Malazan Book of the Fallen, this series, which has a clean ending at the Crippled God. This is clean ending. And you can stop there. You can stop there. You want to know more, you can come back and read like the tales. Sorry about that. You can read the tales of these, and I don't even know how to pronounce that. I know how I pronounce it in my head, but it's wrong. I know it's wrong, but you can go back. All right, but yeah, it's a bit of a. It's a bit. It's a bit of a read. It's a bit of a read. I didn't even realize that they're doing more here. This is we have the Tales of Witness and Path to Ascendancy. I didn't even know these two were going on. I read up to here, 24, because I read these tales, right? So this is where my knowledge ends. I did not read these. I was gonna say I didn't think it was 24. Path to Ascendancy, yeah. Did I read? No, I did read novels of the Malazan Empire as well. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. We can talk about reading habits, and you really need a habit. So I have this thing where I'm dyslexic and I don't read well. And one thing that I really don't do, if I don't read for a little while, I actually get a lot worse. And so it actually helps me. So one thing that I learned when I was much younger is, and this was when it was especially much more painful, I forced myself to read consistently. And so that's something I do. And so I try to read something every single month. I'm not one of those crazy people that do like a book a week. A book a month is good enough for me. But I mean, you do a book a month and you can get through that whole series in a year, right? You hope it gets better than the first page. I kind of need to think about what was on the first page. Was the first page that rough? I'm actually gonna say this. The whole first book is a little rough, right? There's like a whole lot of context that you're missing that you just have to like get through osmosis of living in the environment, right? It's a very big world and you're just kind of plopped into the middle of it. You're on book 21 of the year. Oh, nice, Russell. Look, it's the 7th month. I'm on the book 7, okay? I'm very predictable. I'm very predictable. Oh, it's American English. I understand. No, the names are a bit rough. In a list of characters. I have this I never know how to pronounce somebody's name, and I never know how to read it. Because I read phonetically, and names are almost never phonetically. So this is why like I don't say names of characters and stuff, because I almost always read them incorrectly. But I'm very fast at reading them and recognizing when it's the same name over again. I don't know if that's a skill or not a skill. It's probably not a skill. You don't want it. But I have absolutely no idea what the name is. Somebody's like, oh, that's Amanda, and I'm like, huh. I never knew that's how you spelled it. Actually, Amanda, I think is spelled fairly. Anyways, let's get into software engineering news. Thanks everybody for joining me. I'm sure you didn't come for my joy of high fantasy. Although if you have a great high fantasy novel, trilogy, quintilogy, decahedron trilogy that you'd like to share, please go ahead. Feel free to share that with all of us. We can talk about whether we like it or not, or if it has too many big names. You also played with OpenAI Whisper? That's awesome. How did you like it? How do you like it? My local Piper has been doing pretty well. It's been doing pretty well. We might play with some of that at the end of this. I did set up Home Assistant with OpenAI support. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So we have a lot to discuss in security. We have a really, really interesting security incident that just happened at Hugging Face that I think is maybe what some of us fear will happen in the future. You know, in the past, there was my speaker. In the past, when a hacker gains access, it takes them time. Now, we all have had automated scripts and things like that help hackers do things more quickly, right? That's what a lot of these tools and stuff come from. They're just scripts that do a thing and do it quickly and well. Now, the thing that we've all been fearing is, or especially myself, I've been fearing what the data pipeline for these data models looks like and how that's going to be had. And well, we've gotten maybe a little bit of an idea of the security threat that is going to be needed to be dealt with. That was a weird sentence. So, Hugging Face, July 16th, Security Incident Disclosure, 2026. Earlier this week, we detected and responded to an intrusion into part of our production infrastructure. This one was different from anything we had handled before in one important way. It was driven end-to-end by an anonymous AI agent system, and we detected and dissected it largely with AI of our own. I wouldn't put too much in this. I mean, we can talk about why that. Also, it wasn't actually driven by an AI agent system. This is a little bit of a misnomer. If I put something into place, if I ask Claude to go hack somebody, it's really not Claude. It was me. We don't take AI doesn't shift the responsibility. I want to make that clear here. Somebody actually made this thing go do this. Now, what it did do was pretty cool, though, and I wanted to go over that. So what happened? This is whatever. This is where it's actually really interesting, and I think the threat field is a really interesting threat field that that these people are going to have to look at and understand. The intrusion started where AI platforms are uniquely exposed. The data processing pipeline, a malicious dataset, abused two code execution paths in our dataset processing. A remote code dataset loader and a template injection into a dataset configuration to run code on a processing worker. From there, the actor escalated to node-level access, harvested code and cluster credentials, and moved laterally into several internal clusters over a weekend. So, there was the campaign was run by an autonomous agent framework appearing to be built by an agentic research security research harness used LLM. The LLM that they were using still not known. It could have been multiple. It doesn't really matter. What I wanted to talk about here is something that I've been talking about for a while. Now, I've talked about it as far as poisoning. We've seen from Anthropic that it's really easy to poison. Even these large models, you only need something like 30 files to poison the entire model, even when you're talking about trillions of parameter models. But not only that, this is another very, very unique thing where you're actually in bringing code into your infrastructure. You're bringing data sets from across the web. You're harvesting as much data as you can, and it actually has real effects to your own infrastructure. I think the only thing that's maybe somewhat unique here is how automated it was in its attack. So it's a remote code execution. They found a way to execute code leveraging the data sets, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was a really unique path. It's one that LLM trainers need to understand. And yeah, I'm going to drop you all the link. I don't know that we need to go too much into this, but yeah, anyways, you got to sanitize your inputs. Sanitize your inputs. And in this case, I think you just don't want a path where a data set gets to run code, probably. That's probably I actually need to read more of the research coming out on this, because sanitizing inputs has become very, very difficult. I was actually thinking, we talked about like restricting the tokens that an AI can put out into only valid ones so that it can actually make JSON. And we're probably going to do that because that will be a cool learning experience. But what we didn't talk about in there, is the fact that could we possibly do that for tokens coming in? Could we possibly do that with tokens coming in? Where this is where it's so difficult though, because you're just going to change the language. So this is where. Anyways, that was a bad thought. Because you just say it in a different language or with bad grammar or with, whatever. It doesn't matter. You'll just change the tokens coming in. All right. Continuing on in our security endeavors, AWS Security Hub now offers network scanning. I think this is a huge deal. I think this is super cool, especially when you're looking at it doesn't even have to be a large organization. Do you know what's publicly accessible? Do you have people making resources available publicly that you don't know? A lot of the times you use a CSPM, and this isn't, I think for really large companies, this is probably not a big deal because they have something like a CSPM, something like your Wiz, your Orcas, your whatnot, that's going to tell you that type of information anyways. But for a little bit smaller, those tools are very, very expensive. And for your little bit smaller person, this would be really, really useful. My one thing is the safest cloud resource is one that's not publicly exposed. So, in general, you don't need stuff publicly exposed to the internet, and it's better not to. This is where like Bastion hosts come in and things like that. That's why you see those all over AWS infrastructure, like when they do like the architecture designs and whatnot, and you see these Bastion hosts everywhere. That's why is they're not publicly exposed to the internet. So, anyways, I was really excited to see this, and I thought I would share it with you all. It goes in the net. I don't know how. Is this publicly accessible? Wasn't already just a flag on thing? Absolutely. You're 100% right. This should have been there from the start. But it's there now. It's there now. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm the messenger. Okay. Yes, you do have to you do have to buy an extra VM for a Bastion host. But that's just if you want direct connection through, right? You can do it other ways as well. You can use something like I don't want to just say one company name. Only one company name is coming to mind, but there's a second one. You could use something like Teleport or Tailscale instead, right? And you can do your own thing like that if you would like to, for accessing those while keeping them unreachable to the public. If people actually want to know how you can do some of those things, I'm happy to dive into it and give an example. Happy to. But if you're in a small company, I highly recommend seeing if you have publicly reachable resources you didn't know about. It's very useful. Just set up a VPN. Exactly. Goes to the net. That's exactly what you can do. Ghost lock, kernel privilege escalation. So this was cool. I'm gonna put this. This is actually not the one that I wanted to. Oh well, I had a couple write-ups on this one. This is not the write-up I wanted to show you all. That's my bad. But it was in the real-time mutex code. And where is the write-up I wanted to show you all? One second. Let me find that. I'll have to go back through my notes. Anyways, this was one of the reasons that I found this one to be interesting. Not that there's a whole lot for you all to do. This is a kernel thing, so really this will be in your distribution of Linux when you update, because there's kernel patches, and that's what you'll see here in Almo Linux. They have patched all of theirs. So these are all patched in Alma Linux 8, 9, and 10, and you'll see it across all your distributions. So if you're running a distribution, you just need to update your distribution and you'll get the patches. So there's not a whole lot for you all to do. One of the things that I found, and there was a write-up on this, which I don't have for some reason now, and I apologize, was this used sufficiently advanced statistical analysis to help them find this bug and fix the bug, which I thought was really cool. It's one of the first times that I have actually seen a decent use of it, and I thought it was cool. So moving on. This is one of the biggest updates to Dependabot that I have seen in a while that I'm very excited about. You guys just got ads, didn't you? Should we wait? I'm very excited about this Dependabot update. Yeah, we should wait. Let's find the write up on this. Let's find the write up on this while we're waiting. I feel bad. I don't know why people aren't using version 4 yet. It's right there. I can't access it, can I? Okay, I can. Yeah. This is not a bad one, at least. I don't think this is what I was reading. It was on my phone, so it didn't look the same, but this looks AI written. So much is AI written now. All right. All right, you're all back. Welcome to what I think. I have been calling for this feature in everything for a long time. And I know that it's not the fix. It doesn't fix the problem, and there's ways around it. But it is a really awesome thing. It's really excellent. Dependabot version updates introduced default package cooldown. This means by default, Dependabot isn't going to tell you to update to a new package that has just been released. It used to do that, which could when something like Shai Hulud is going around, could encourage you to get a vulnerable package. Dependabot now waits until a new release has been available on its registry for at least 3 days before opening a version update pull request. This is huge. It's like a really good first step. I wish they had gone 5 days, honestly. 3 days is probably fine, especially because Dependabot doesn't always, how soon do you get to the Dependabot updates? Like, usually it takes a little while too, because like it's just a pull request. Anyways, unless you just auto merge those. I suppose you could just auto merge. I don't auto merge those. I actually review them, but you could. I've thought about it before, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. It's great. I know that there's always been a feature. I said it, where there's a cooldown on packages. But the fact that they've changed the default is really big for protecting people that don't realize it, right? I know that you all here listen to me and know that you should be setting the cooldown on your packages in your Dependabot YAML. But there's a lot of people that don't know that. There's a lot of people that are new to the industry, just getting in. They know to put their code on GitHub. They decide to use GitHub Actions and or Dependabot to make their code more secure by getting patches from vulnerable versions. And they don't realize that there's this big security flaw there. So this actually makes it more approachable to new people coming in that haven't had the opportunity to listen to this, listen to me talk about it over and over ad nauseum. You guys are probably tired of it, but it happened. I'm super happy that they finally listened to me, and it's awesome. You're now protected by default. I'm super excited about this. Anyways, I'll move on. It's just the simple things that we can do. I think we get too caught up in the complicated things. I realize that this isn't a silver bullet, and I feel like sometimes we get stuck on the silver bullet. Like, how do we solve the problem? And the problem is that it's a hard problem and not necessarily something you can just solve with a silver bullet. And that's why the simple things are amazing. I love them. This is awesome. Moving on, AWS Security Hub provides AI inventory for organization-wide visibility of AI assets. I have not used this. This is just an announcement. It was posted on July 14th. So if you're going to ask me questions about it, I can answer as many questions as these 3 paragraphs answered themselves. If you'd like to know more about it, I suggest you talk to your AWS representative or look here. But the idea of having a central security view of your AI assets, I think is really important. If your company has a bunch of AI assets, this is the same as any other security posture. You have to know, there's the term shadow IT or shadow software or whatnot. You have to know what's running and where it's running if you're going to protect what's running. So this is pretty cool if you're running stuff like Olama, VLLM. I know that we're talking about switching out to VLLM, or the other one that's built on top of VLLM. And how did I forget it? I know that you guys, I forgot it, but that one, we should Google search for it. You're going to be able to review, monitor, and have that in a central spot, like you should with everything that you run in your enterprise. So this is maybe behind the times. Yeah. You can't imagine having enough AI infra on AWS to need a special app to monitor it. Interesting. You still need it to have inventory, right? I'm not going to argue this point with you, but like it should be in inventory somewhere. I would think, at least. It would be nice to have it in inventory. Introducing Amazon GuardDuty AI protection for AI workloads. I don't really know what this means. I read through this and I'm not entirely sure exactly what it means, but we're covering security, so I don't use SageMaker that much. So Amazon GuardDuty now offers AI protection, expanding its threat detection to AWS AI services, including Amazon Bedrock and Amazon SageMaker. As organizations rapidly adopt AI, security teams may lack visibility into threats specifically targeting AI workloads, such as autonomous model invocations, cost harvesting attacks, and prompt injection attempts. GuardDuty AI protection continuously monitors these workloads so security teams can detect and respond to AI-specific threats without manual configuration or custom tooling. I'm not entirely sure what this means. These are a lot of words, and these are definitely like attacks that can be happening. I don't know how they protect against them, and what this means. They'll tell you that it uses CloudTrail management. So, like, I don't know. Are they looking at logs? Okay, I mean, that's cool, but a lot of things could look at some logs. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's the best thing. I don't know. And I'm sure they charge for it. I'm sure that they do. And I already talked to you guys about this. This was all in the, I don't know why I have this twice. Boom, got rid of it. This was all in the security stuff, so. All right. That's it for security. Did I miss anything in security other than Fortinet has another vulnerability? Another 0 day? Did anything besides Fortinet or Cloudflare? Nothing? Fortinet only goes to the net. I'm glad that you're in on it. I'm glad that I don't cover individual CVEs for the most part, unless if there's something to be learned from them. Again, because like most of the time it's just patching. And so unless if there's something interesting to learn or something like that, or something where I think it would actually affect people, like there's not a good patch. So, you have your Spectre and Meltdown ones like, oh, there's not a really good patch, except like we can do these things in the kernel where you have to work around them. And those were interesting as well. I don't cover patches. Again, you should patch your software. Dude, I don't use Fortinet, but it seems ridiculously patch heavy. Nice. It seems quite patch heavy. That's all I'm gonna say. It seems quite patch heavy. If you're running Fortinet, you need automated patching. That's all I'm saying. All right. Did anybody else see anything else in the security that we could learn about or learn from? Or directly affects us, either way. Now, I don't know about you all. But when I was growing up, when you got a hammy it was not a good thing. That's what we called it. I don't know. Maybe where I grew up called it something weird, but now the CNCF has gotten their own hammy, and maybe it's a little bit more exciting than when you were a child and obtained one of these delightful experiences. The CNCF, a technical oversight committee, has voted to accept Hammy as a CNCF incubating project. Now, what are you guys thinking? Like, you're thinking, what's the Hammy? Well, Hammy looks to help you interface with accelerators that require the device level. I don't know what the word I was searching for there. Infrastructure needs. That's not really the best words here, but with Hammy, platform teams can slice a physical GPU or NPU, or there's a lot of other accelerators. I use the word accelerator instead of GPU because there's FPGAs and things like that. Although I don't think that would work with an FPGA, right? That's probably a bad example. But there's a lot of other accelerators out there. You can get a lot of different hardware accelerators out there that do things like TLS acceleration, which is really cool. So this Hammy lets you slice the physical GPU into units by memory, core, or device count, and that's really, really awesome. That's really awesome. It's not GPU support necessarily, right? Because I've done a lot of stuff in GPU, but one of the big problems that you're looking at when I run stuff in GPU is a lot of the times a single container consumes the entire GPU, and then you have part of a GPU left over not doing anything. Let's say I have 128 gigs of memory on that GPU, and the thing that's running only takes 32 gigs, right? Now I have a problem, right? Now I have this waste of memory, but that container consumes that whole device. That's classically how I've done it. There's been some things out there to try to help with this, and Hammy is one of those. You can't just run 3 or 4 of those containers because the container consumes the whole GPU. It can, like, when you do the GPU pass through, it takes the whole GPU. All its base belong to it. That's the problem. That's what Hammy's trying to solve. Where you're going to say this container only needs 32 gigs of memory on that GPU, or only needs 27,000 circuits or whatever, cores. That's the idea behind it. So anyways, really cool. I'm excited to see Hammy. We might have to try. You know what NVIDIA needs to do? It needs to send me about 10 GDX Sparks to run a cluster with. I think that would be a really cool experiment for them. I think I would appreciate. I think those Sparks would be an amazing local cluster. So if you guys know anybody that could hook me up with 10 of them, we could be testing Hammy out and a bunch of other things on some hardware that won't tell you that it's on. That will not tell you that it's on. All right, moving on in the open source world. Rust 1.97.1 came out. This 0.1 is actually very important. So just 97 came out just a little bit ago, but there was actually a I'm not going to say this. I just refuse. It's there to trip me up. There was a bad LLVM optimization. Basically, it wasn't compiling code correctly. And this is actually a big security issue. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because this does directly affect you. If you've compiled code with, you think it's 1.97? No, it turns out that this goes back all the way to 1.87, So if you've compiled code with 1.87 all the way up to 1.97, you need to recompile your Rust. Ghost in the Net, I completely agree with you. The DGX Spark is kind of poo-poo. I agree, but if somebody would give them to me for free for testing, I would happily take them for free. I think that I actually think they would be a fantastic Kubernetes cluster. Fantastic Kubernetes cluster. Super rich. You'd have to be super rich to have them as a home Kubernetes cluster, but they're super expensive. But if NVIDIA wanted to hook me up for some testing, for some stuff like that, for some really good sponsorship in the AI games, I'd happily take them off their hands. Happily. Anyways, I highly recommend if you're writing Rust, I think maybe the easiest thing if you have something is just to update and recompile. That being said, I understand if you're on an older version, I don't know how easy it is to like get up to this version because it seems like it's only it wasn't backported. At least their announcement isn't on backporting in all of these. So my understanding is that you're going to need to update to this version, which could take some time. Anyways, you can go in here about how they found it and read on it. I sent you guys the link. It's pretty cool that they found it, that they made the announcement, but I know we all like Rust here. Go Rust update. I need to Rust update. I haven't Rust updated yet. I know. It came out all of 2 days ago, and I haven't updated yet. But there you go. This does affect you. Ghost in the Net. Okay, so Ghost in the Net. We actually did fine tuning on my 4070, and I actually want to do that on the RTX. So maybe next weekend we can do the fine tuning. If you'd like to join next Saturday after the news, we can do some fine tuning on the DGX Spark. Happy to do that and see how well it does. Oh, we're getting to my $200 billion AWS bill. That hasn't been covered yet, but we're getting to that. Yeah, we have more AWS news because AWS actually released some open source stuff. So as always, here's the link. But building secure agents at scale, introducing Loom for AWS. Now I think Loom is very much tied to Amazon Bedrock. So while it's open source, I think it's really good for learning and understanding. Like if you want to do something like this for another system, for another framework, you could use it as a starting point, but it's not necessarily super useful outside of Amazon Bedrock. But it exists out there. AWS Loom is trying to help build and operate agents on Bedrock on their runtime. And so like if you're trying to do that again on another system, this might be a cool starting point where you could learn. Yeah, it's cool. I like, again, it's open source, which is the cool part here, because if it wasn't, it'd probably be like I probably wouldn't have even brought it up. But this can maybe help you learn about it or do your own thing or learn from what they've done, which is the cool part. So if you're trying to weave together agents, if you're trying to build this thing out, have that observability, and understand how you could get an agent to talk to another agent if you wanted that, might give it a check. The other thing is OAuth support for AWS MCP server. It has also been open sourced, which is, I think they open sourced it because this way other people can add support for it. But anyways, it's out there. You can use it. Again, it's for AWS specifically. It's open source news. It was open source. I covered it. Did I miss anything in open source news? Anything I should have talked about there? Oh, no. Well, the MCP was difficult to use, right? Because they didn't have OAuth for it. So you basically had to give it like a token. So there's that. I do use the AWS MCP, but you know what I use? You know what I use more? If you guys haven't if you guys don't know about this, I use this more. I have a entire skill on leveraging this for my my agents. Instead of giving them access to the cloud, what I do is I give them access to SteamPipe. And I have a whole skill around leveraging SteamPipe with like examples and stuff. I've had great success with this. Where if I need information, this is the better way of doing it. It uses way less tokens to create a select statement. It's already pretty good at making SQL. And so like it's already pretty good at making SQL. And so like you use way fewer tokens using SteamPipe than having it actually query data out of AWS, GCP, or wherever. I highly recommend SteamPipe if you guys haven't used it. That's my recommendation. They have not paid me to say that. But yeah, so I actually stopped using the cloud MCP servers and things like that. So it just converts all API calls into SQL. So basically what I do if I'm trying to get a lot of data, I use SteamPipe. And I have my local Claude agent also. This also means that access control is really easy because SteamPipe won't allow it to write. And so like I get this enforced read only of an agent. So I can say, hey, like I want to know how many EC2 and GCP machine instances we have running right now. And it will use SteamPipe to go make the query, which then only uses very few tokens, right? Because like it doesn't have to go query and find the API calls and things like that. It's pretty efficient and safe, which is what I like. It's very safe, which is really awesome. So safety is a big concern of mine. Now, some of you like to token max. I know, you guys don't say it, but there's a few of you that like to token max. AWS thought, how could we get our customers excited about token maxing? And they decided that the best way to do this was to, in fact, make them think that they had spent billions, sometimes trillions of dollars, so that when they lowered their bill to something not in the trillions of dollars, that they would be excited to spend some of that on tokens. That's what happened this last week. I was actually impacted by this, let me tell you. there was pager duty alarms going off. There was a bit of chaos that I suffered this last week due to this bug right here. There's several places that there was several news. You can see this around the news wherever you want. I'm not giving you a link. Go search for it. But there were quite a few people awake at certain times of the day. I was very annoyed. Because yeah, there was some ridiculous bills. Amazon had a I didn't have in the trillions. Thankfully, I didn't have in the trillions. Now, supposedly, your bill is correct. I've been talking with AWS on this, and the bug that caused this was not in the underlying infrastructure that tracks your infrastructure, that tracks your charges. It was in how it was calculated. Effectively, they added a 0 to the multiplication, and that's how they got to that. Now, I don't 100% believe all of that. I believe that their underlying infrastructure that recorded it is correct, but this wasn't, we added a 0 because it was also inconsistent on what services were built. And maybe it was that we added a 0 on a few different types of instances or things like that. But anyhow, if you did see alerts on this, do know that you should check again. It has been resolved, at least in our account. I don't know if this is an account by account things or org by org, or if they fixed it all at once. I don't know. It has been rectified for us, but you should, give it a check. Give it a check. AWS says psych. Yeah. Why have their own $1 billion mistake? Exactly. Yeah. It happened. It happened. All right. The last section I have for us today is from Hacker News. So this is just like the things I found interesting on Hacker News, It's almost like Reddit, there's some gems in there, but you got to sort through some stuff. The first thing, Kimi K3 was released. I know that we've talked some about Kimi K2. Sadly, this will not be a model I will run locally because I do not have the infrastructure to run a 2.8 trillion parameter model. I don't even know that I have the hard drive space. I don't know how large a 2.8 trillion parameter model is. I wish that they would release some smaller models, but yeah, fine. Supposedly it does great. I say supposedly because we all know how well I trust benchmarks and how well people have been cheating at these benchmarks. So until I get some actual applicable use of it, we'll have to see and see what that looks like. Until then, I don't know. Somebody get distilled. Ghost in the Shell. I actually want to try to do a distillation of one of these open models. So like pay for DeepSeek or Kimi K3 and try to do a distillation with like a Quinn model on my NVIDIA Spark. I think that would be really a lot of fun to try to do. I think that would be fun. I think we should do that. Like that is a thing that we should do. It will be a great learning experience. Yeah. Yeah. I would love to be able to run one of these. I can't. I can't. Microsoft Comic Chat is now open source. So for all of you that have been missing this since 1990, whenever. We'll have to talk about our Quinn setups because my Quinn coder is not rock solid. I'm actually running Quinn 3.6, not the coder version. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need to be running the coder. I thought the newer version would be better. I don't think it's very good at coding. Today, we're excited to announce the open source release of Microsoft Comic Chat, the chat client that automatically turned conversations within internet-related chat into comic panels featuring illustrated characters. So, anyways, they released it open source. It was something built in 1990 sometime. 1994. So, anyways, it was open source. I thought I'd give it a little shout out. I should have given it in the open source. You're right, except I found this on Hacker News. And so this is the Hacker News, the best of Hacker News that I found. Firefox in WebAssembly. This was really, really cool. I don't know that you want to be using this, but the entire Firefox browser rendered to a canvas element inside of Firefox. So, no, I wanted to go to, Firefox in WebAssembly. So basically, it's going to run Firefox inside of Firefox here. Give it just a second. I should have downloaded this ahead of time. I wanted to show you the actual Hacker News port, or post, not port. I don't know what the applicable. I know, like we did like Kubernetes in Kubernetes, but I don't know that this is like that applicable. And I don't want to actually turn this on. I don't want to do this because I think there's a good reason not to do this. There's a good reason not to do this, but I don't know if there's good application for this. I feel like there's like something to be said about testing. I feel like Firefox in Firefox. I don't know. You know what? Go test it out yourself. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I want to be excited because it's WebAssembly and Firefox. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know. You know? I feel like when we did Kubernetes in Kubernetes, so like we ran the control plane, which we kind of do that now. Like we kind of do that now where like they run in containers, but they're static container manifests instead of running in Kubernetes. We used to do it where they actually ran in Kubernetes, and then everything was peachy unless if your entire control plane fell down. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I too don't know how I feel about this. I too don't know how I feel about this. Apparently. So anyways, the interesting thing here that I wanted to pull out, I know that we've played around a little bit with open code. They've done some releases. Nothing too big. The big deal was stop subagents from launching nested subagents by default. They ran into this interesting problem where subagents would launch subagents would launch subagents and subagents and subagents, and you'd eat up all your tokens like really, really fast. I think a lot of people are really starting to understand how expensive some of this has been, and starting to make sure like by default we don't just eat tokens. I think I thought this was interesting. People also thought it was interesting on Hacker News. That's why it's in the Hacker News section. And it's open code. So it's still also open source. So kudos to them. They did something I haven't done yet. I wanted to build my own agent. I have half of my own agent. But half of my own agent isn't a whole agent. Yeah. Apparently, we've all liked subagents. It's a thing. All right. I have to leave at precisely. I have an hour and a half left. I got another family reunion to go to. At noon. All right. What is this? Oh. So let's talk about this. I have been using I know, Gray Hatter, don't even comment, because I know that you self-host your email. But I have been using Gmail for my personal one, like a paid account, and I'm done with it. I need to move. And I don't know where I need to move to. Poor Merrick's family. Right. I don't want to self-host. I don't want to self-host my email, okay? So I need recommendations. And why this right here actually brought they upped my rate by almost double and said it's because of all these awesome AI features you don't use. And it made me so angry, because it's like, it wasn't like I could opt in to pay for some of the AI features. No, they're charging. I should have covered this on the news. I was super angry about it. They're doubling my fee for my email, because they're like, we added AI to the Google Docs that you don't use, and we added it to the spreadsheets that you don't use. And yeah. Google did. I say they almost doubled it. It was like $15 to $25, not quite doubled a month. Email. No, I have like my own domain though, right? So not like at gmail.com. Exactly. Exactly, Ghost in the Net. Exactly. And so like don't get me wrong, I actually want some of those features. One, I want an email. And two, I I like it. So I do like all of my events on a calendar that's controlled by that account and things like that. So like the AI games, when we get closer to it, I will get that up on the calendar, so people could like subscribe to it. So there's like things about it that I like, but I want to migrate off. I want to move off because one, I don't use any of the AI features that they're charging me for. There's no way to opt out of enabling them on my account and paying what I was originally paying. And Google has had an issue with privacy, and I'm not sure how much I trust that my it's probably private, but I don't know. I'd rather just move off. They gave me the middle finger. I'd like to move on. So, anyways, that reminded me. Do you guys have any recommendations for a good email? I think the ones I know of is I think it's Fastmail and Proton Mail. I think these are Proton and Fastmail are the two that I clicked on a sponsored link. I hate it. I hate it that I did that. These are the two that I was reviewing. Whoa, okay, 1 second. Proton plus Dove plus Round Cube. Round Cube. How do you tie all of these things together? I don't understand. Oh, these are all. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see I didn't see postfix. I saw proton plus okay. I see. Sorry. I thought that it was proton plus dovecot, dovecot, or is it du duvicot, duvicot? That's how I'm pronouncing it. Duvicot. Anyways, don't ask me how to pronounce things. I have no idea. Um, um, yeah. So, anyways, I was looking at these two, Fastmail versus Proton. I don't know that I necessarily need like. I like that they want to protect your privacy. I don't necessarily need like all encrypted. Like to me, it's not that big of a deal. But it's nice. They seem to care at least. Hey, look at that. Cheap comparatively. What's this? What's this? Oh, I could get my children. I could get my children. They don't need a an email. Proton Duo. What is round cube? Oh, so you're just using this for your like you're just using this for like a web browser to your email. It's a web client. Yeah. Proton does large Black Friday deals. Oh, so I should probably wait. Okay. Okay, I will maybe wait then. Let me know if you guys see a big deal that goes out for any of these. I was thinking maybe Proton. They're a little bit more expensive than Fastmail, but maybe just out of like support a company that cares. I don't want to host it because I actually like that my infrastructure can go down and does go down. If I was back on fiber internet, I would reconsider doing that. But right now my internet is bad enough that I'm not gonna host it. Does this allow me to bring my own domain? It says exclusive domain. I don't want it exclusive. I probably have to do this to bring my own domain. I hate that they add other things in that I don't want. So, do I have to get this to get custom domains? And I don't want 15. I just want 1. And I don't want a password manager. I wish this was an add-on that you could just buy for $1 a month per user. The same with this. Like, I don't want these. I'd rather not pay for them. It's okay. Oh, all paid plans support custom domains? Oh, it didn't say. It just listed custom domains here, but maybe like you get 1. Okay, I'll have to look into it. I have to look into it. I understand, Grey Hatter. This is why I'll pay for something. Ghost in the Net. I'm not gonna spend $1,000 a month on a high availability self-hosted email platform with redundancy and I actually do like running stuff at home. I've run a bunch of stuff at home. My internet is not great here though. And so like if I'm traveling, I want to have good access to whatever it is, and I can't guarantee that my internet is going to be good. I do actually like that they have docs and sheets. I use that. I don't use the AI in them, but I do use it to like share some stuff. Okay, so cool. It looks like I can just do this one. Oh, I missed this. I missed this. All right, Black Friday. Black Friday. See if we can't get it down just a little bit. Let's Encrypt. hey, Grey Hatter, you can't complain about Let's Encrypt, okay? Let's Encrypt is awesome. They might go down a bit. But they're awesome. Who else would you use? Who else would you use, Grey Hatter? For your free cert. For your free cert. Why don't you self-host that? Be your own authority. You should be your own cert authority. I like this plan. I like this plan. Oh, Is it really going to 8 days? I did not realize it was going to 8 days. Is Let's Encrypt going to 8 days? I should have announced that on the news. So they want automated search, right? It's only 45 days in 2028. Oh, I did not know I was jumping in the middle of things. This doesn't, I did not know this was making people so angry. I'll have to read on it to why it's such a bad move. It pushes people onto the cloud. Okay. When I was running locally, I ran some automation to go do this. But I see I used Cloudflare to do it. Interesting. I'll have to read more on this. I actually didn't realize that this was happening. But they're excited to announce. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't seem like Let's Encrypt is really the one pulling the strings here, right? We're talking more like Google and all of the bigger ones. They don't get much of a choice, right? They have to follow the rules if they want to provide valid certs. So DNS persist. I can't read caps. Persist 1. Do we have any updates on this? What is this? Is this actually helping? So it seems like they understand what you're all upset about, at least. Okay. You like the well-known HTTP validation method? I've always used the DNS one myself. Okay. I'll have to look at this. The HTTP method makes sure the name server can actually call onto the host server correctly, or it won't validate. I don't know who. I just walked into the middle of this. I just walked into the middle of this. I'm learning as we go. I didn't realize this was going on. I don't know who proposed it. Like I said, going for a walk every 45 minutes is probably really healthy for you. I'm not sure I'm against it. I don't know who proposed this. I will dig more into it. Like I said, I walked into this cold, very cold, and it's a very hot topic, apparently. So I was not prepared to defend any side or statement or even know what was happening. I can't believe I didn't know about this. Like, it's like 7 months old. You will be against it at 2 a.m. You're not wrong, Russell. It's at 2 a.m. when I learned to be against many of these things. When I'm like, oh, let me tell you, this is dumb. 2 a.m. is the difference maker here. I'm sorry to hear about the depression, Grey Hatter. Depression is a serious thing. a walk in the sun, the vitamin D is actually going to help. Exercise is also really good. But it's not something we should take lightly. I wonder if sleep... No, I don't think it counts, Russell. I think... Right, Ghost. The thing is, at 2 a.m., I also am against having my eyes open. And at 2 a.m., I believe, is when things that require me to have my eyes open is when I become very against them. That's pretty much what happens, is when there's something that requires me to have my eyes open, I become against that thing very quickly. Yeah. Yeah. I have not... You know, I'm not going to say anything about my current status of not being on call with cert rotation failure in a long time. And that hasn't been me for a very long time. And now it's going to be me tonight. Now it's going to be... I'm not even on call, but I am in an escalation path. So technically I'm on call all the time because I'm in escalation paths, which means it could be me tonight. Ghost, you don't have on call. That's nice. So you're not a SAS. Is what my understanding is, that you don't work on a thing that you guys host. Or it's just so good. It's just so good that it never breaks. Cool. You have customers that want to know the cert before we swap it out? Oh, dude. I'm trying to understand why. And you guys didn't get to push back on this? Like, is there like a really valid reason? Like, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, dude. I don't understand why. Touche, Russell. Touche. Touche. So, Ghost, I think if I was part of that chair when they were trying to make that decision, that group of people, what I would have asked is, historically, how many people are being compromised because of this? If at 90 days we had 0, then I would be disinclined to agree with it. If we were having a lot, if we saw a trend in an uptake, in the longer that cert lived, the faster people, the more likely it was to be had, and there was data to support that. I too would be in agreement to shorten that time to wherever it stopped being compromised, right? I'm speaking completely hypothetically, but like that would be my thought process anytime I'm entering any of those types of decisions. Yeah. I try to be very reasonable. This is why I am not the supreme dictator of the world. I have said that I would happily take the position, but unfortunately, nobody takes me up on it. So anyhow, I do try to be reasonable. I'm going to take a short break. I need to take a walk. I was bombarded with a topic I didn't even know I was going to be bombarded with. I need to take a quick walk. I need to actually... Nice first word, Russell. Nice first word. I think the supreme dictator of the world would be very old after the first, 30 minutes to an hour. 30 minutes to an hour. My kids are at a certain age where they still respect me, and they're like, Dad, why don't you become president? I was like, you don't want me to be president. Even if you thought I could do a good job, even if you thought you don't want that. There's sadly, this is probably why good people aren't there. Sadly, this is probably why good people aren't there. Oh well. Let's not ruminate on this anymore. I'm gonna go for a quick walk, and then we're gonna come back. What I'm gonna do while I'm on that quick walk is I'm going to check the thing that does voice transcription is down right now because I moved it to a different room. So I'm gonna go turn that on, and we're gonna play around a little bit with my Home Assistant setup as it is. And then next week, we're going to do fine-tuning. We're going to do a bunch of fine-tuning because I'm actually excited about fine-tuning. I want to fine-tune Quinn to be really good at tool calling. Or something. I want to make something good at something. We're going to do that next. While you guys are waiting for me to come back, please enjoy a good game of Wordle. If you guys haven't been here before, you guys get to play the Wordle. You post a 5-character word, and if it's an actual word, it will count, and then the timer will start going down. This timer up here. So you guys can play Wordle, have fun. Walkie does not appear to be a word. We could add it to the word list. We could add walkie to a word list, but if you want to go for your own walk, please go for your own walk. I'll be back in just a bit. Thanks all for joining for the news. Wait. Was there? I mean, I'm using the official. Wordle word list, so I do not take any responsibility for their words. Oh, okay. Automod. Okay. Let's see. Automod held the reason for bullying. Yeah. Automod considers it Ghost trying to bully me. I would say that, like, yeah. It was impossible to win. It was impossible to win. I would say that that's, I don't know. It's generally a mean term, yeah. I was trying to think of it like if I've heard it used not meanly. You know, there's some words where it's like, oh yeah, that there's a certain way of using it in another way, but I don't know that I've ever seen that used in such a way. Not in my childhood, at least. Well, I was gonna say, like, I don't know. Sissy bars? No, I don't think so. Not from my childhood, at least. All right, let's see. Plush is not it. Arise isn't it. What have we done here? We have not gained any new information other than a PL. It's not Persa. We know where the S is. Boost. Oh, boost is a good one. Thinking boots, but that's the wrong order. Whose? Oh, whose is a good one. With no E though. No E. Yeah. Ghost, I think you and I came to the same. Oh, this should be easy now. Bossy? I like bossy. Yeah, some of us are a bit bossy. This fits. I can't think of anything better to put in there other than bossy right now. I wish we had a leaderboard. Nice, Russell. All right, next time we're doing the challenging word list. I don't think Ghost has experienced the challenging word list. I don't think Ghost has experienced the joy of a challenge. Should we do one challenge really quickly? Ghost, go ahead and try. Try guessing this word. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot. You attempt this right here while I'm looking at we gotta make sure that this is all on and working. Does Ghost know the rules? I have no idea if Ghost knows the rules, but it's on the challenging word set, so. No, they're not normal. They're not different than normal. I guess there are a few things. If two people vote for one word and then one person votes for another word, we'll use the word that two people voted for, unless if the one person got the right word. If you guess the right word, that word is picked. It's not dead Latin words. It's not dead Latin words. It's more like old English words for dead Latin things. Right? It's not dead Latin. It's just real words that were used in English once upon a time. And usually like some Gregorian word or something like that, and you're just like, it's the Gregorian word for that feeling when you're sitting on the pot but don't need to poo. And it's like, why do I have a word for that? I do believe we're up and running though. Let's see. We have our Spark server is up and going, and the Null server is up and going. I don't think that this is on a... yeah. So we have got to reset stuff up. Perfect. 145. I think it was on 146 originally. So that might cause us a little bit of issue. Keep trying. Yeah, so let's open up Home Assistant. If the timer doesn't count down, that means it wasn't a word in the word list. So neither Senti or Codex were. But we could add those to the nerd word list, which is not the word list you're on. So this is a nerd word list, which we need to add more to, but which ones did you guys have that were good? Codex is good. Yeah. All right, let's see. I noticed this. I need to get it running on an SSD. Maybe I need to run it on a real server instead of this Raspberry Pi thing that I have. All right. So we're getting closer. Cider? Oh, if it's a lame word, if it's like cider, I'm gonna be sad that we got such a lame word out of it. I don't even know what that means. Russell, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay, let me plug the smart speaker in. We'll see if it's still working. It is. It's not cider. It's not cider. Like the town crier, right? I didn't think about that. But yeah, this is why it's the challenging word list, right? Do we understand why it's the challenging word list? This is the reason it's the challenge. Like, challenge. A base, a baft, a bath, a back. These are all words. We can look them up. It's a archaic or obsolete term for enzyme. This is why it's the challenging word list. Because it has literally everything. All right. So I was playing around with Home Assistant. Let me update my titles since we're no longer only a couple hundred years old, not the usual 3rd century names for flowers collected by monks. Exactly. Exactly. So I was playing around with Home Assistant, and there's two things that we need to do. We need to, number one, we need a, to train our own words. Right now, we could only use what they had, which is... Yeah, let's actually find that. Let's see. They have the word Jarvis, so I can say, "Hey Jarvis." So they only have the word Jarvis, so we gotta do our own wake sound because we wanted this to be like a Batman Alfred. And then the other thing that I found interesting was that so far I can only assign 2 different wake words. And now the nice thing is I can actually have a different wake word for a different assistant, which is what I wanted to do. But they're only allow me to do 2, and so I have to look and see if there's some like firmware or something that I can do here, because I want to have... This was the interesting part. Is this is also per microphone, and I kind of want the speaker to be dumb, right? So these were things that I learned here. Is like this was this speaker here. And then we can go back here and we can go to the living room. Oh, this one's unplugged, but this is a different voice assistant. Does it use Onyx? So I don't think so. Dane, thank you so much for your sub. Thanks for that healing hand. Oh. You're right. You're right. So this is actually one of the things that I wanted to do is create my own wake word. Oh, so you used Piper? Oh. So what I was going to do is I was just going to do it with mine and my children's voice. And then, like, I don't care if it doesn't work for other people. Like, it doesn't matter. All right, so I have a question. Something that I didn't get around. I didn't want to assign assistants to... Like, I found this to be a little bit of annoying configuration. Because in theory, if I add a new assistant, if I add a new speaker, right? And I really want these to be just really dumb microphones. If I add a new speaker, not that Office, where's Office? If I add a new speaker, I have to come in here and I have to configure all of this for it, right? Whereas what I had really wanted to do was configure a voice pipeline for my home. And basically any microphone that was plugged in, I just want to feed it to that. And basically I want to have a couple things like I can have Cicero, you know, preferably I'd like it to be Hey Cicero. And then this one would be Hey Alfred, right? And those would be my two butlers, right? So what I didn't find an easy way to do is that right there, right? Right now I can assign different assistants with different wake words to each audio processing unit, which isn't really what I wanted. And I know I could make some automation that the next time I plug in a microphone, that's fine. But my more thing is like, well, if I now have let's say I make a change and I don't want Cicero anymore. I want us to all go to some other one, right? Now I can't actually, I have to go through each speaker and update it, right? I don't update it at a single place. I have to go through every single speaker and do that. Now, maybe what I need to do, and this is what I was thinking, I didn't know if anybody else has done this, is make one assistant, but make it where it calls out to the other ones if I wanted other ones, right? So in this case here, you have Cicero, which Cicero, if you go to, no, not notifications, settings. Cicero is actually powered by OpenAI. Do you guys know who Cicero is? You guys might not know who Cicero is. The Turkish, anyways, he was a spy butler, right? I thought it was pretty funny, right? Spy butler goes to OpenAI, the thing that will spy on you. I thought this was humorous as far as a good Alfred versus Cicero. Anyways, I'm having too much fun. Yeah. I know. Everybody. Not Roman Empire. Just World War II spy butler. But right now you have to access Cicero through, and again, this is where like now I have to go to like here to actually see how that is. So yeah, maybe I need to do like a single agent pipeline and control it all off of Home Assistant. Is that what I need to do? Is that what other people do? I haven't seen so much. So that's kind of next on my plate here. Well, really, next on my plate is this. I need to do this. How many does home It does not have 29 predefined workways. This just adds a secondary wake word. Maybe I just need to do the multiple agents like you've done, Ghost. This would also make the configuration is kind of poo-poo in my opinion. because like I have to configure it for each speaker. But if basically I handle it all outside, then I can change the whole system without changing each device, which is maybe the way I need to go. But it's pretty cool. Hey, Jarvis. Oh, it's not going to work because, one second, I know why it's not going to work. No. I just want to edit this. I want to... This is no longer being... because... 192.168.1.145. The other ones are looking at the wrong one. What is the default Whisper port? No. Let me look. Can I see here? There's no way to edit these. There's no way to edit these, is there? It found it. It found it. That's weird. It's been online for... Oh, I guess it hasn't been online that long. Because I just moved it upstairs. The internet is better today. Because I moved the antennas upstairs. But I also moved... Oh, it didn't work. It didn't actually find it. Let's actually look what we're dealing with. Let's see. We ran this, right? Okay, it's already running, but we ran it on 10,300. Okay. So 192.168.1.145 and the port is 10,300. Done. We can delete these. Delete. I need to get it on a consistent IP. It disco. Sure. It finally discovered it after I told it existed. Yeah, Ghost in the Net. I think that's what I need to do. I think that's what I need to do. I think that's what I want to do. Now, this should work. The other thing is I need a better local model. I need a better inference machine. Right now I have this DGX Spark and it's just not great at inference. We'll see if it's good at training. Okay, I don't know. This isn't working. Don't care. Don't care. There we go. Now, if we say, hey, Jarvis, what time is it?
11:56 a.m.
Cool. And that's all local, right? Because we have this Olama. Have I tried Gemma 4? I have tried Gemma 4. You know, I haven't tried as voice assistants. They did really badly in the AI games. The Gemma 4 did really badly in like tool calling and stuff like that. As far as like a conversational, maybe they would do really well. Yeah. How big is that model? Can I host it on the little Spark I have? Oh, I can run that easy. Oh, wait. Do I just need to run this on my own local machine? Where is this running? This runs in Google Cloud for free? Oh, that's nice. Can I just download it and run it locally? It's effectively just this, right? Yeah, I probably would like to say, like, actually just I probably would save a copy, right? You should be, yeah, save a copy with, yeah. I might be able to just put it in GitHub, and then we can play around with it locally. And we'll do this on the Spark. I did run out of time. Time kind of flew. But I gotta go because I got a family reunion to go to. Next week we're gonna do some training, and I know I wanted to do training this week. It just time got away from me. We got to do this, and then I want to do a bigger set of trainings on the DGX Spark. I'd like to, like, once a week have it testing, training something. What I really like to do is, you know, we have those benchmarks for like tool calls, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to train a model to do tool calling better. And what I'd like to do is start with an open model that does a pretty bad job, and then do like some distillation training with another open model that does better, and see if we can't improve that model. That's the idea. Even if it's just a little bit of improvement. And we could possibly even do just like some handwritten things to make the tool calling better. Anyways, that's the idea. I don't need large scale. I'm making the next best model. I'm learning to do something and specifically solve a problem. That's the idea. Yeah, probably starting with Gemma because it did terribly at the tool calling. If I remember correctly, Gemma did the worst at the tool calling. But anyways, it just something like that. We'll pick a model that does really poorly at it and then try to make it better. And it will be a great learning experience because I don't know what I'm doing. And we'll see where we go from there. We'll also do this because, like I said, I want it to be Hey Alfred and Hey Cicero. Maybe not Hey. I feel like Cicero should be good enough on its own. Like, that's not close to anything I say in normal day. You know, I'm not out there going like, Cicero. Cyber Apocalypse starts next week. Oh man. I gotta do that. Okay, I'm actually going to do Cyber Apocalypse next week. It's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna do very little, but I'm gonna try. I actually did sign up for that. Anyways, gonna raid Togglebit. I think he's doing a game jam right now. So tell him he needs to beat my Wordle game. That's the expectation. Tell him I said hi and I need to get going. You can do it while the models are training. I probably will, actually. That's probably what I'll be doing, is I'll be messing around with something like this and doing it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for your input. And I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.